Throughout history, people have made amazing accomplishments that define themselves. Now, it's our turn to tell those accomplishments, to tell his story, her story, their story, and even your story. With Mike Wexler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Your Story with me, Mike Wexler. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube thing. I'm not a great YouTuber, but you know what it is. Welcome to season 3. Today I have a very special guest in one, the only, the playmaker. I don't know if I'm doing it right. There you go. There you go. Jazmyne. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Man, I got to tell you, man, you've been killing it recently. I know we talked a little bit off the air about this, but man, you've been all over the place when it comes to wrestling.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very cool when you've been doing this for a little bit, and finally people are starting to realize who you are. It's a very cool experience.
Absolutely. I mean, how could we not forget about your phenomenal singles run thus far as the new J2? And then, of course, how can we not forget about Rebel Storm Rebel Storm and the tag team Cyberstorm. But let's get into this first. So you have, as of this recording, you have a lot of shows coming up. You have Epic Pro, you have your debut in Vegas. Like, how does it feel knowing that you're going on these bigger shows now?
It feels good. I mean, it's something that I've always felt like I was ready for. It was just a matter of just getting the opportunity. So, because I think about last year, that's when I started really understanding wrestling more, and I started really gaining confidence in myself. And it was more just like, okay, now I just need to get out on these shows. So now it's just finally happening. So yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, like I mentioned before, I like the match as of this recording. I am so excited to see is that tag team match in Epic Pro, because like you see that differentiate, like that. I don't know if I said differentiating. That's probably the same word of like promo styles, because like you had Shane and Johnny, who had that kind of like introduction. They're going to be at the show, kind of old school, kind of like MPW during training, and then you have, in a sense, like Level Up, where you have like this. It's at a bar. It's like, you're trying to have this introduction to like Hunter Freeman, and is J2 and Hunter Freeman going to be coexisting during this tag team match? So like, I'm excited as of this recording for that match.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Me and Hunter, we've tagged before, and we've worked together in 8-Bit Lit. He was our honorary member once at a Ground Zero. He was player 4 for one show. So, there's definitely chemistry. I will say that. You guys are just going to have to wait and see. So
absolutely. So again, hopefully by the time of this recording, we have highlights.
Yeah.
But speaking about highlights, man, I mean, holy crap. Like, I know my podcast is sometimes uncensored, which I'm totally fine with, but like, holy crap, man. Like this year alone, I feel like that this has been a real breakout year for you, because like you've had so much wrestling going on for you, and so many great moments for you, like winning the tag team titles for MPW. You started your heel run this year and started this introduction to a character and a persona that I think was very unique to us, and it was like, okay, like he's dancing to Save Your Tears by The Weeknd. He's killing it. So like how do you think 2022 has gone for you thus far?
It's gone real good. So I know when COVID happened, like a lot of places kind of stopped, and a lot of guys haven't been really able to train as much. So I got very fortunate that Level Up was still open, so I was able to kind of hone my craft. But this whole idea of this new version of the Playmaker, it's something I kind of always had in the back of my pocket, because during COVID I would listen to nonstop The Weeknd, and I was really into After Hours, his album before Dawn FM, and it was just something I constantly listened to, and I kind of would listen to the meanings of the song, and I was like, man, that'd be really cool if someone just made a wrestler out of The Weeknd. And it didn't come to me till one day. I think I was talking to Danny Devine about it, and he was just like, if you were a heel, what would you do? And I told him the idea, and Danny listened to it, and he was just like, I trust you. I think you could do it. So he's like, go ahead and do it. And so I did it, and now this is where we are.
Yeah, and then like and I had mentioned before, you're taking off, like going to all these different wrestling promotions, which is pretty cool. I do want to mention really quick before we go any further. I was in attendance for this California Classic, and seeing you as number 2 while Rebel Storm was number 1 was very, like, I think it was very cool storytelling in a sense too.
Yes, yes. I've always like told myself, I was like, one of these days when I do a Rumble, I'm going to be number 2. I just know it one day, and this was the Rumble, so it worked out.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, especially with the story of Rebel Storm being number 1. Of course, he lost. I believe he was pinned. So then that way, in result of that, he was number 1 in the classic. And I'm like, okay, like I wonder who's number 2 because nobody knows the number order. And then all
Right,
of a
right.
sudden, here, save your tears. I'm like, wait, this is true storytelling here. I like it.
Yes, yeah. You know, me and him were tag partners, and you know, winning the titles, and it all goes back to, you know, me being actually one of his first trainers. He was little fun fact about Rebel Storm is that he's actually one of the original students of Level Up. Like he was the first group ever that
Oh,
we
wow.
I think we only had 3 students that you know, did our beginners course, and he was one of them, and he was the only one that stuck through it. So, you know, he's been there since the beginning. So it's very cool to have that story with someone that I consider like one of my students in a way, and one of the originals of Level Up, you know. So it was very cool to kind of experience that moment with him.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, we could talk all day about Cyberstorm and all that, but I do want to talk about something that you had mentioned right now. You had mentioned this on your, or I had asked the question on your Instagram live when you did recently, and it's talk about being a trainer over at Level Up Pro Wrestling. So, can you talk to us about how special it is for you to train these future stars of professional wrestling?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a very big thing about Level Up being a school. You know, like the school's getting a lot of momentum at the moment. You know, we're building these stars, and a lot of our guys are getting opportunities. For example, you're seeing Hunter Freeman making his GCW debut in Atlanta. He's been on GCW already, but Atlanta is like one of his goals. And then you're also seeing Jordan Cruz, one of our top guys. He's also making a splash, and you know, Michael Hopkins is also getting another splash. But like that's what I'm saying. Our guys are getting these opportunities, so pretty soon you're going to see the newer guys start coming up. So, you know, I'm a big proponent for building our guys from the bottom up and hopefully getting them to where they want to be. So I take real great pride in making sure that, you know, the guys are getting to their goals, but I also want to make sure that they're ready, because the biggest thing about Level Up is that we want to make sure their basics are good. We want to make sure that they feel confident being in the ring, and it's one of those things that we really strive for at Level Up is the basics. So yeah.
Yeah, and what I think is really cool too is that you have a TikTok account and you talk about your blogs about,
Yep.
you know, whether it's an MPW show, if it's a Level Up show, or even just training. It's really cool to see that you're giving the fans kind of a preview of what your journey is on an everyday basis.
Yeah, I think I've kind of always looked at like TikTok, and I've noticed that like the East Coast and other wrestling, pretty much everywhere else, guys are doing the same thing I'm doing. But I haven't noticed anybody in SoCal or North Cal really doing what I've been doing. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of let everybody in, let everybody kind of see what I go through, because I feel like we don't do that enough sometimes. I think we kind of like to keep wrestling a mystery from the
Mhm.
fans at times. And sometimes I feel like if we let them just in enough, they can kind of see the hardship these guys are going through. And it's just something I feel like is needed. So I want to do it and also use the platform we have today. Because at the end of the day, you know, this TikTok's a thing,
Oh
YouTube's a
yeah,
thing, Facebook's a thing, Instagram's a thing. So why not use these things to our advantage? So that's what I
absolutely.
look at it as.
You know what I find funny too is that I was talking to Chris Van Vliet recently, and he had mentioned that the use of reels, Instagram reels, and TikToks and YouTube Shorts are really popping off recently. So like when I see J2 Mattioli getting all these likes and comments, I'm like, I think that's become the new thing. I don't think you just like a picture anymore. It's like you really gotta have this unique. It's like the day of Vine, if you guys remember what that was.
Yeah, yeah, 7-second videos, and they're really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays it's more like engagement. I think people want to be able to. It's similar to wrestling in that aspect of, people go to shows because they can kind of freely express themselves. As a fan, they can choose whether they hate you or love you. And I think social media is kind of the same thing. Yeah, there's some sort of realism, but like for example, I had some people call me out and say that I'm a fake Seth Rollins, and I thought that was kind of funny. Which is like, oh, I'd even like try to copy him. I guess it just happened in that way, but I kind of messed with it and just said, oh, really, Seth Rollins? I would say I'm trying to copy The Weeknd. Like I'm just straightforward about it. I don't even like try to hide it. So
Right.
I like having fun with them and kind of messing with them, and it's kind of cool to see like some fans defending me. Like it's like, oh, I didn't know Seth Rollins created dancing. Oh, I didn't know Seth Rollins created wearing a suit. So
Right.
it's kind of funny to see the audience get riled up and support you in that way. So I think yeah, social media is kind of like the new way of getting like people behind you nowadays.
Absolutely. And I also feel like that social media like helps within your career, because like you see all these people that are like popping up because of social media. Like I can't tell you how many people I've seen from like the California scene in general that's like, wow, like probably best example, even though he's from NorCal, technically, Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. That was a huge thing too. You know what I mean? They saw stuff from APW and all that, and now he's a part of Team Taz, he's a part of Team Taz as far as I know from this video. And it's really cool to see these people get the start and the position that they have now because of social media.
Yeah. I definitely see some wrestlers taking advantage of it. The question is if they're doing the right things, but I don't really think there's a right or wrong. I think people are still figuring out what works for them. For me, for example, I think what's happening is these vignettes, this kind of mystery style promos are what makes people drawn into the character. And what I got the idea from was just kind of watching TikToks, like those random videos you get on your FYP for you page. And it's like these like videos like with no answers, and you're like, what does this mean? And then I just kind of was like, you know what, this is cool. I like this sound. What if I made something similar but made it my own? So that's kind of where I've gone with it. And there's like these little short 10-second clips, so that's what I've been doing with it.
Yeah, but I mean, also not just the short clips, but like one that I think is really popping off too, and of course, Epic Pro had shared with you as well, is that promo. I got to go back to that, man, because that was so like the storytelling in it was so good. Because like you have Hunter, that's like the backwoods brawler, he's always solo, and then like you see this new J2 come in. Like I remember you had said on the Instagram live, and you don't have to explain like the backgrounds of the video, but I just got to ask, like, how fun was it being in that bar and just really promoting this show?
I mean, so Hunter was telling me that he wanted to do something, and I just said, all right, let me see what I can come up with. And then I said, do you think the bar would be cool with us filming there? And he's like, of course, because he's cool with the people at the bar. So we talked to them, set it up, and I had this idea, and the cool thing is the bar, they have all these lights and stuff which really add to the scene. And then some of the students, and I just want you guys to know that the filming on the behind the scenes was a couple of our students from Level Up, so they were the ones helping out with the production value. So the biggest thing I want to put over is that everything like I do, or a lot of things that you've noticed that has like multiple people from Level Up in, is because it's a lot of Level Up talent helping with the project. So everything is pretty much produced by Level Up. So it's pretty cool to see those kind of things happen because of students. So
yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see them help out as well. One of the things too is that we talk about Level Up Pro Wrestling and the school over there. I've been introduced to a lot of new people because of Level Up. Like I didn't know who Casey Douglas was until he came to MPW, and I'm like who's this? And then same thing goes with, who was it recently? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but like there was a bunch of new people. I'm like, wow, like these are so much great talent, and they're all coming from this one school. So I thought it was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that are starting to head up to MPW. I would like a couple names I would say is Leo Caneto,
yes,
the Menace, the Block, you got JF 3000. You also have
Mhm.
Xander Phillips. You have the Enterprise. You got Cam August. You also have Jeff Roth. So we got our little group of guys that are starting to kind of branch out from Level Up and start, and here's a secret. That's only the first few. There's way more coming. So you guys are going to meet more guys from Level Up. So yeah, we have an abundance of students, and there's only more that are going to debut soon. So
absolutely. I mean, well, we can't wait for those debuts to happen. I feel bad though, because the recent Level Up show I was supposed to make, but I wasn't able to sneak out of my aunt's 50th birthday party in time.
No,
because that was at a new location. That was at the Brew House.
Yeah, that was at the Attitude Brewing, which is in North Park, I want to say, kind of near North Park. It's like down the street from Level Up. It's not like super close, but it's like a couple miles away. But it's closer to down, I would say, Mission Valley kind of area. So kind of downtown area. So yeah, not too far. But yeah, it was a cool venue. It's a little tighter than our back lot, but I would say it felt a little more intimate for the crowd because to me, it was very loud in there. Or not in there, but it was outside, but it was very loud. So, and it's at a bar, so people are a little tipsy, a little drunk, so they're having an extra good time. So, it was definitely a very cool show. So, I can't wait for you guys to check it out. It should be out hopefully this weekend on IWTV.
Right, man, I'm excited to see that. One thing I do want to mention about JT Mattioli is the fact that you're pursuing your dream, you're passionate about what you do. But also the importance of family. You know what I mean? Like you have a family of your own and they support you on this journey as well. So I guess the question I have is how important is family to you?
Oh, family is the most important thing. They're the reason that I'm working this hard. They're the reason I'm doing these TikToks. They're the reasons I train so hard. They're the reasons I travel because they push me. Ever since I had my son, I was just like, wow, this is go time. This is the time to really push. So my family definitely pushes me to strive for greater. So
JT, I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time, of course, out of your busy schedule and really getting this conversation going. But before we go, really quick question in terms of video game, because I know you're a huge video game person.
I love video games.
What would you consider is your favorite wrestling video game of all time?
I have to say, because I was a GameCube guy back in the day, so I'm going to have to say Day of Reckoning 2.
That is a good choice. I don't know how you feel about the SmackDown versus Raw series, but
I love those. I love them.
SmackDown versus Raw 2007 is the greatest.
It's very good. Very good. Yes. I had that. Yeah, the music, you name it, like the GM mode, all that kind of stuff. Like that stuff was great. So I love all that stuff.
Yeah. And So, okay. Now, finally, the final question, of course. I always ask this on every podcast because I feel like that their stories need to be heard. And, I love when people get to showcase their stories. So with that said, is J2 Mattioli proud of his story that he has created for himself thus far?
Definitely. I think the Playmaker is definitely it's a story of fighting from the ground up, the underdog story. And I love that it seems like no matter what, as I keep climbing the ladder, it's always proving myself. And I think that's how it is in life. I think people always have to prove themselves in some way, that it's never, you should never be satisfied. Even if you made it to the top of the mountain, it's always going to be another mountain to climb. So I love the story of J2, and I'm excited because I don't even know what the finish of the story will be one day. You never know. He might crash down from this mountain one day and then climb all the way back. Who knows? We'll see. But I love what's unfolding with him, because originally I don't think this is what I imagined him to become, but he's becoming almost greater than I intended.
Yeah. So. No, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the Your Story podcast. If they want to find you on social media, where can they find the new J2? I still can't do what B-Boy did.
Yeah. He's like this kind of thing. So you guys can find me on Instagram, on Twitter. You guys can also find me on TikTok. On Instagram and Twitter, it's at J2 Mattioli. And then on TikTok, I think it's at Juan Mattioli, or you can also look up J2 Mattioli. I think it's both, so either way works. And you can't miss it. It's a picture of me in the red suit without the helmet on, so you'll see my crazy hair that I want to cut so bad, but I feel like I can't because I'm crazy. So yeah, so you guys can check that out there. And then also I want to plug in the Level Up YouTube channel where we have a lot of our weekly showcases where you guys can check out the future stars of Level Up, and in my opinion, the future stars of SoCal Wrestling at Level Up on YouTube.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, J2. Hopefully we'll see you in a big company, hopefully somewhere. Yeah, I'm really excited. But I guess I got to do an outro. So make sure you guys subscribe here at Mike Wexler. We have a new Instagram handle at It's Mike Wexler. Sorry, Sock Monkey Mike. It's been gone as of this recording. And Twitter is at Sock Monkey Mike still. I'm still working on that. Yeah, you can listen to this podcast on any platform you find your podcast. But thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Your Story. Why Can I Not Scroll? There we go.